Hello, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. Angela Wolf here, Brother Brand Ambassador, and I am super excited to see you. A new week. Can you see a trend here? Yeah, it's fall. Officially, it's fall. So I hope you had a great Halloween last weekend. I saw so many of your costumes. Someone asked me, what did you dress up as? I'm going to go with construction worker because I wore jeans and a t-shirt. That's about all you got from me this year, but it was a lot of fun. So nobody trick-or-treats in our area, so we go out and hang out with all of our buddies. All right, welcome everyone. We have got a super fun show for you. Actually, we have two fun shows for you this week. If you're looking for fun, easy peasy, but beautiful, elegant designs for fall, for Thanksgiving, anytime in the season, you want to tune in today and Thursday. So today we've got Tina. You know her, you love her, and wait till you see what she's got on there today with the PrintModa. So this is fun, and you can use any sewing machine, I believe. We'll have to check with her. Tina, how are you?
I am doing great. Angela, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. You know, I absolutely love these shows, and I love it when it comes time for fall because that's my favorite time to decorate. Although my husband's painting right now, so nothing's going to get decorated unless I paint the walls. So this might be really fun.
Oh, too funny. Well, today I have a really quick and easy project for everyone. It's a Thanksgiving themed table mat, but when I got it, and I was going to put a candle in the middle, I'll show you that in a minute, but when I got it done, it's got enough structure to it that I'm pretty sure I could put a hanger on the back and hang it on the door if I wanted to. Isn't that fun?
I love that. I'm like looking close. It's so three-dimensional.
Yeah, yeah, it's really fun and it's super easy and you can use any basic sewing machine. I mean, you can keep it as simple as just straight stitches. So it's a fun, easy project. I think you guys are going to love it. And the PrintModa gives you the opportunity to theme it to whatever holiday. So this one has a little bit of Thanksgiving in it.
I love it. I love it. And yes, I can see you all. We are live streaming on Brothers Sewing and Crafting YouTube and Facebook pages. So drop your comments, drop your questions, even if you're watching the replay, and I'll bring them up for you. So Tina, I'm dying to see this, and my PrintModa is plugged in, ready to roll.
All right. Well, I'm going to start off because I get a question a lot when I'm traveling. I think most people who have the PrintModa are familiar with how you can send things to it from the Artspira app. But the question I get all the time is, hey, Tina, what happens if my content isn't in Artspira? How do I print my files onto the fabric? And I'm going to show you the way that I do it. And I'm not saying it's the only way, but it's super easy. So I'm gonna pull up something here, and basically what I do is I find my image, whatever, I either find it or make it, and then I email it to myself. So here you can see that I've emailed it to myself, and then I'm just gonna click on the attachment, which is my print file, and it pulls it up here, and then I'm just gonna go up here and save it to my phone. And then once it's saved to my phone, then I'm just gonna open up the Artspira app really quickly. And we're going to go down to plus new because I'm creating a new design. And then we're going to make sure that I have printing selected. Then we just pop into design editor here. Now it is the fabric, so I'm going to do a custom size. So 11.69 is the width of the fabric, and I'm going to make it 26 inches. And there's a joke about that, which I'll share with you later. And then say create. And then once I have that, I just go to my image tab, go to the camera roll, pull up the image that I want to print. Easy peasy here. I don't really have any more edits to do to it, so I'm done. I'm not going to save it because I've already saved it. And then you're just going to make sure that you see the PrintModa, the Brother HLJF1 printer there, and hit print. And voila, it magically comes right out of the printer for you. So it just couldn't be any easier than that.
That is so simple, Tina. So simple.
Yeah, it's really easy. And then I just thought maybe we'd take a quick peek at the printer just to make sure for folks who haven't seen it yet that they're familiar with how it works and how it's set up. So let's pop over and look at the printer real quick. So you can see here the printer, it's got two trays. Tray 2 is where my fabric roll is, and then it's got tray 1 here. And it is Wi-Fi enabled, so as long as your mobile device and the printer are connected to the same Wi-Fi, you can send stuff easily from your phone or any other mobile device. And then tray 2, where the fabric roll fits, is right here, and the fabric roll's right in here. So I don't know if you noticed, but when I was printing it, the fabric rolls are 11.69 inches wide. And then I have one of the replacement rolls in here, so it's 5 yards long. So quite a bit of fabric. It is 100% cotton. and it has a carrier sheet, which you'll see in a minute, that helps it feed easily through the printer, right? So basically, whenever you're trying to print to the fabric, it's going to tray 2. Artspira does that automatically for you, so you don't even have to remember that part. And then the second tray, tray 1, basically you can put any inkjet compatible material in here. So you can see right now I've got regular printer paper in here, but I also have sticker sheets, because if we have time, I'm going to show you how to do stickers in here as well. And then basically you also have the independent sheet feeder in the back. So if you have pre-cut sheets, you can feed them directly in the printer. So I think what a lot of people forget is, the PrintModa, it's an amazing printer. The ability to print on fabric is awesome, but it's also a printer. So I could use it to print out spreadsheets or documents or sticker sheets or pretty much anything I want to that's inkjet compatible. So it ends up being a super versatile crafting printer. So I just want to make sure everybody was familiar that it's more than just a fabric printer. It's an everything printer, pretty much. All right. So
I love that printer.
Yeah, so let's pop over and see how we make this Thanksgiving wreath, because it's pretty fun and it's easy. So we'll look at it again real quick. So here you can see the wreath here. And again, initially I was thinking, right, I'd stick a candle in the middle and that looks really cute. And then actually a minute ago when I was playing with it, I was like, I could hide candy for the kids up in here too if it's sitting on the table to make it kind of fun for them too. But it's a really simple project. So let's go through how we make it. And by the way, I put together a little instruction sheet for you guys, and Angela will have that posted later. So if you don't want to get writer's cramp, just know that you've got all the step-by-step instructions that you can download.
And just so everybody knows, I'm posting it right now as we're live. So by the time we're finished here, I'll drop a link for you. So don't worry about writer's cramp. And sometimes it takes me a day, but I want to let you know I'm doing it right now. Thanks, Tina.
All right, thank you. All right, so let's get out the little parts and pieces and we'll talk about how we make the magic happen here. So the construction is really simple. So to get started, you're going to have a front fabric and a backing fabric, and these have been cut into 6-inch squares, and you're going to need 12 of each one of them, okay? And then we're also going to use some fusible fleece, and that's what created the structure in the wreath that would allow me to hang it if I wanted to. So this is fusible fleece, and it's cut to 5.5-inch squares. So you see, then you place it on the wrong side of the back fabric, and then it's good to go here. Once you have that, you're going to put these two together. I know this is going to sound a little bit crazy for some of you guys, but right sides together, all right? And then when you take it to the sewing machine, you're going to stitch around all 4 sides. And I know some of you are already thinking, oh my gosh, how's she going to flip and turn that because it's the wrong side out? But I have a trick I'm going to show you in a minute, all right? But we're going to hold on that for just a second. Now, then we come up to our PrintModa fabric, right? So a couple of cool things I figured out when I was working on this project. The PrintModa fabric, when it feeds through the printer, see that shiny stuff? That's the carrier sheet that lets it feed easily through the printer, and you take it off before you use it for your project. But this stuff is great for template material, right? So the joke about when I put in there and I said I printed at 26 inches, right? I'm like a math nerd, so I need 4-inch squares of this, right? So I'm like, okay, it's 12 inches across about, and if I could have 6 of them down, and that would be 24 inches, so I added a couple inches for tolerance, 26 inches, right? But what I forgot is I'm using a directional print, right? And so if I want the print, and I don't know if you can tell here, I'll pull this back, but see how I have the print running along the way these come out, so it's right side up here? So if you're using a directional print, you actually need more fabric. So I put in the instructions that you're actually going to print 48 inches if you want the directional. But here's the template material. So I pre-cut this into a 4-inch square. And then look what I can do. As I'm going through here, I can audition my pieces, right? So if I want to feature the pumpkin, then I'll line it up this way, pin it, and then cut around it. Or if I want the pie to be my center piece, I'll center it over the pie here, and then I'll mark it around and cut it, right? So again, if you use a directional print like I have, you need more fabric. If you use something that's not directional, you can get away with a 26-inch print, right? So then once you've cut out your pieces, you're going to make 12 of these guys as well. So it's a 4-inch square. And so those are ready to go. So now let's go back. Now that we have that, let's go back to this piece and talk about how I'm going to get it right side out. Well, I took a pair of scissors and I cut an X right in the middle, and the X is about 1.5 inches, right? And so then I'm just going to reach inside of here, and I use my fingers, and I'm going to turn this guy right side out. And it's easier than you might think. I was actually surprised how easy this was when I started doing it. All right, so I'm almost there. Now, once you get it to this point, right, getting the corners out is a little tricky. So at that point, you can use a point turner tool like this, or honestly, you can use a chopstick from a Chinese takeout restaurant. It's whatever you have in place will do. And you slide that into the X as well, and you just start pushing out the corners until you have nice turned out corners here. And it goes pretty quick. Again, this whole project, from cutting it out to getting it all stitched together, for me was less than 2 hours. So that's the other thing I love about it. It's quick and it's easy, right? So now that I have it turned out nicely, I'm just going to take it to the ironing board and give it a good press. And I'm kind of closing the X back up a little bit here as I'm pressing it. And so once it's pressed, we end up with this piece here. Now, you've noticed, I don't know if you can tell here, I marked it with a Sharpie. I was hoping you could see. Ultimately, what we're going to do, not at this stage of your construction, but you're going to have your directional fabric and you're going to line it up like this. See, going long ways is the right side of the fabric. And so this would be the top corner. So I want you to take and make a mark 5/8 of an inch on either side of that top corner. So 5/8 of an inch, 5/8 of an inch. And down at the bottom corner, you're going to mark it 2.75 inches on either side. And we'll talk about what we're going to do with those markings later on, but just that's how we're going to mark it. Then you're going to take and you're going to put your pre-cut piece of fabric right here in the center. Now, I've already added the iron-on fusible on the back here, so I would remove the release paper. And again, you want to make sure that when you're doing this, again, you've got the print oriented down that long side for the project when it's done. And then you just pop over to the sewing machine, and actually you don't even have to sew it if you don't want to, but I basically went over and put a blanket stitch around the 4 sides as you see here, okay? And then from that point, it gets really easy. So here, I like doing this so much, I've already started the Christmas version, right? So here's the Christmas version. I've already made the squares. I've added the blanket stitch here. And here you can see my markings on the sides, right? Now, I don't know about you guys, I am not the world's straightest sewer. So if it's helpful to you, you can get your ruler out and you can basically join the 2 marks like this, and then take dressmaker's chalk or an erasable pen and kind of connect those. And then you have a sewing guide for the next step that we're going to do over at the sewing machine. All right, so see how that basically comes together there? Again, 5/8 of an inch from either side here and 2.75 inches from the corner over here. So now we're going to pop over to the sewing machine. Now, you can do this on any basic sewing machine. Literally, you can make it as simple as straight stitch only, right? I happen to be using the Avenir today, and so it's got a few more bells and whistles. But just let's see a couple things I wanted to show you. So for my construction, I use the center stitch straight stitch for most of the construction, and then the blanket stitch option, I pop down here to stitch 1.22. All right, and you don't have to use a blanket stitch. You could use any decorative stitch you want, or frankly, you could run a run stitch right around the sides if you wanted as well. Now, the other thing that we have on the Avenir that I already told you I'm not a very straight stitcher that I like is the sewing guidelines. So you see I've got those turned on here, and my fabric, I'm using the Christmas fabric for this. It's pretty dark, and so I went in here and played with all my colors here and realized that the blue is the one that showed up the best when I was doing the sewing. So I have it set to blue, and I have the position at 0, 0. All right. So now let's pop in and let's see how the next part of the construction works, because this one's, if there's a part that you maybe wouldn't figure out automatically, this would be part of it here. Okay. So you can see I've got my squares here on the table. I'm going to take 2 of them and I'm going to put them wrong sides together. So in this case, my red is the wrong side. And then I'm going to check that in this corner, I've got the narrow side of the markings on both sides. And I do. All right. So that's good. Let me line this up a little bit better here. And then I'm simply gonna bring it over here and see how my projected sewing guideline shows up really nicely, and it gives me a really good line to follow. I'll just lower the presser foot here, and then we'll just do a quick stitch right through here. All right, so there's the first two that are joined. All right, so then we have this, right? So you're starting to see that it's making a circle. So let's do one more. So again, I've got the two here. I'm going to put them together, wrong sides together like I did a minute ago. And then I'm just going to double check that I have the narrow measurements on the same corner. And just like I did a second ago, I'm going to line this up again. Trying to see if the thread popped out of here. We'll find that out in just a second. Okay. All right, so now I got 3 pieces. So let's pop back over to the sample table because the next part's kind of fun. All right. All right, so that's where we started. Now these are the 3 pieces that we've sewn together. So see how it's already starting to form a circle? And it's the magic of the difference in the angles between the top and the bottom. So you would just continue that process until you had all 12 of the pieces joined. And at that point, you'd have a circle like the wreath that I showed you a minute ago. And then once you have it here, you're going to take these pieces here and see how they come together in the middle. And then you have lots of choices for how you join right here. Let me see if I can use a sewing clip. It'll be easier to see this part. So once you have these lined up like this, right, you have choices with how you join them. You could do something as simple as just hand stitching these together really quickly. Or if you had a decorative button, like in this case, maybe a snowman or a Santa or something, you could use a decorative button. What I did on mine, I'm just going to bring it back real quick, is I actually used brass rivets because I thought the metal was kind of cool. And the colors worked for what I was working on. But basically you join those points however you want to, and ta-da, you have a finished wreath. Isn't that easy and super simple?
That is so simple. In fact, I can't believe how simple that is. It looks so elegant. Do you know how much you'd pay for that if you bought that somewhere?
I know, and I mean, again, less than 2 hours from start to finish, right? I spent more time figuring out my Thanksgiving print pattern than I did making the thing. I mean, that's how easy it is.
Wow. Absolutely gorgeous. Someone's asking for the link. Don't worry, I'll drop it at the end of the show.
All right. So a couple other things while we're talking about using the PrintModa to print fabric. I don't know if you've noticed behind me, I have a lot of things on the wall behind me. Those are some of my previous PrintModa projects. So you can see in the middle, I made a photo quilt of a trip I did with my 2 daughters. And then the 4 pillow frames, I used the PrintModa to create the custom applique fabric. So you can see on the basketball one, I themed it. I've got basketballs for the 2 M's, and I've got a picture of my kids in the middle. And then I've got a picture of the dog with a dog themed fabric print on the other side. The GG actually has a whole photo collage that was then printed with a PrintModa and uses applique fabric. And then I've got a couple pictures of my daughters from their summer vacation this year. So you can do a lot of things with the PrintModa. When you think about printing fabric, you know, sometimes people can't wrap their head around initially why they would want to do that. But photo and memory quilts are a great example. And then custom applique fabric is a great use. I use it for that all the time. Now, I'm going to show you another fabric application. And this one, I'm going to incorporate, Brother also sells for the PrintModa some iron-on vinyl laminate sheets. So the next couple I'm going to show you, I actually use the vinyl laminate iron-on sheets. And I did that because I wanted them to be able to be wiped clean. And so let's look at those real quick. Clean up my mess over here. All right. So the first two, I think we all have family members that we know and love and favorite family recipes, and maybe not all the people who wrote the recipes are still with us, right? And so what I did was I took some family recipe cards and I tossed them on the table and I took a picture of them. You can see I've got a couple versions here. And then I just found a cute little frame to put around them. and I printed them out with a PrintModa, and then I put the fusible vinyl laminate sheets on top. And I did just a little quilting. So this is just free motion stipple, and then I did some faux binding on it. And so my goal here is that these are going to be table mats, I guess is what you would say. You can put something hot on it. I've got the Insulbright batting in the middle of it, not a pan because the vinyl won't handle that, but like crockery or a bowl sitting on top of it I think would be nice. And it kind of reminisces to favorite family recipes from people that we all know and love and that we're having at Thanksgiving dinner anyway. But it's a really fun and quick way to bring some of those cherished family memories to the table with you at Thanksgiving. Isn't that a fun one?
That's very cute.
And then another one, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I was sat at the kids' table until I was in my 30s. Anybody else have that experience?
Well, if you're doing that, I'm coming to the kids' table with you.
So, sometimes at the kids' table, you got a lot of time on your hand before the food's ready, right? And you need something to amuse yourself. So, Brother has a website called the Brother Creative Center. And on there, they have a lot of files that you can print with a PrintModa, or you can print them on paper, you can print them on whatever you want, right? So I went in and typed in Thanksgiving, and then I looked for coloring book pages, and that's where I got the turkey here. So I printed him out with a PrintModa, and then I just have simple facings on either side, which are also, this is vinyl that it wipes away. And then on the back, I just used some marine vinyl. And so basically these were just straight stitched on the side and then basically stitch around the four sides to make the placemat. But then when they're waiting for dinner and they're bored out of their mind, they can take their washable markers and color up on their placemats. And then when you're done, you just wipe them off and you're ready for next year.
Oh my gosh, what a fun idea. I think I need to start bringing... Okay, Teresa, my youngest sister, if she's watching this, she's got 4 little ones. I need to send this to them for every meal.
It is actually, I've made several different placemats. There's an Art Sphere project with a little race car track that makes a great placemat for toddlers and stuff too. Just put that vinyl iron-on sheet back on top of it and you're good to go. Pretty fun, right?
Very cute.
All right, so next up, still talking about that Brother Creative Center because there's so much content in there. I almost couldn't decide which things I would try to make. But have you ever wanted to theme your napkin rings for Thanksgiving? Believe it or not, they've actually got a napkin ring design on the Brother Creative Center too, right? So let's take a close-up look at this guy and then we'll talk about how we make it work. So look how cute he is. He's just super simple. He's been printed out on the PrintModa. I put a simple little snap attachment on the back side that I just ripped off here for a second, so I'll have to put that back on. But super simple, super quick. He's in the Creative Center, so you just basically send him to the PrintModa to print. And then once it's printed, I could actually get 4 of them on a 12-inch sheet. And then I'm just going to quickly show you how to use the ScanNCut to do a fussy cut. Now, it's simple enough that you could use scissors, but gosh, the ScanNCut makes it so easy and so quick. Why wouldn't we use it, right? So let's pop over the ScanNCut and see how it looks here. Hold on one second, and we'll be right there.
We're getting there. We're getting there. Everybody's saying thank you. They love it. Barbara Jones says she's been thinking about doing a wreath for the holidays. So yeah, perfect timing.
Yeah, so we'll get there. All right. We'll eventually get to the ScanNCut, I promise. In the meantime, we'll just look at our turkey napkin.
Oh, you know what? Hey, Michelle, I dropped the link into both sides. It's at angelawolf.com if you go to events. Now, I put the instructions there, and I'll show you guys in a minute, but all you have to do is copy and paste. There isn't a way to have a PDF on that page, but at least this will get you guys started. All right, we got your PrintModa.
All right, we're gonna get the ScanNCut in just a second. Cameras, technology gremlins are hitting me up pretty hard today. All right, we're almost there. There it is. All right, so here's our ScanNCut. Now I fit 4 of these on a 12 by 12 inch sheet. I've already cut the other 3 out, so I got 1 left on here. So it's on the fabric. Now what I've done here is I removed the carrier sheet and I put the iron-on fusible on the back of it, right? And then basically, because I have the iron unfusible, you can see here I'm using the purple or the standard matte on my ScanNCut, and I've got the standard auto blade in here as well. All right. So now let's go to the screen of the ScanNCut, and I want to show you how easy it is to do fussy cutting. So fussy cutting is a great technique for what I'm showing you here, but you can also take like a print material if you wanted to cut out one of the motifs in the print. It's great for that as well. So basically on the screen, we're going to choose scan, and then we're going to choose, you have options here, right? So if I wanted to cut it directly after I scan it, I would choose direct cut. If I want to save the cut file to the machine, I would choose the one in the middle. If I want to save it to a USB, I could choose over here. I'm going to go ahead and direct cut it today, so we're going to choose this one here. And then it's asking us where we want all the processing to happen. I want it to happen on the machine. And you can see here that I'm scanning. Now, for those of you at home, there's two different ways to scan. There's color and there's also black and white. And depending on the image that you're trying to do, one works better than the other. This one is color, so I have it set on color here. But if you wanted to change that, you just pop into settings here and you could go to black and white, okay? But we're going to leave it on color and we're going to press start. And then the machine's going to feed in the fabric. Just takes a few seconds here. All right, so you can see my image here, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to crop it. So you can see there's some schmutz on my mat, and I don't want the edges of the fabric to be picked up as a cut line or any of that. So I'm just going to basically come in here and crop around my image about like this. And then we'll say okay. And then it's going to do a little bit of processing here. All right. So I don't know if you can see, but it's basically identified all of the edges of my little napkin ring here. And I don't have any adjustments to make. But if you'll notice here, if for some reason I had some extra lines showing up here that I wanted to get rid of, that's when you would use ignore object size. And you would basically just pick a size that's bigger than what you're trying to exclude, but smaller than what you're trying to cut, if that makes sense. But we're good to go here, so I'll just say okay. All right, and it's processed. Now here, it's giving me a couple options, right? If I wanted to add an offset, I could do that here. I don't want to. I want to cut right on the edge. If I had edits, I could do those as well, but I'm actually good to go, so I'm going to say okay. And here you can see the cut file for my napkin ring showing on here. Now I don't have to scan it again because it created the cut file from the scan where the fabric's already on the mat. So I'm ready to cut at this point. So we'll simply come here and tell the machine what we want it to do. So please select, we want it to cut. All right, now when you come in here, you're going to want to check your cut settings here, right? So let's look at a couple things in here, and one of them I want to spend a little bit of time on. But you can see I've already done a test cut here, so because I've been using my mat and cut a bunch of things and my blades to cut paper and stuff, I had to increase my pressure just a little bit, and that's just based on how I've used my mat. Otherwise, I would have it on auto. But this last one here, half cut, you notice that right now in settings it's turned off. And that's appropriate for fabric because I want to cut all the way through the fabric. But later on, I'm going to talk to you about doing sticker sheets and some other things, which are 2-layer materials. So if I have a 2-layer material, I would want to change the half cut to on. And just quickly, just to make sure you know how to do that, is you pop into settings, and then you go to the second page, and half cut's right here. And you would turn it from off to on, but only if you had a 2-layer material. We don't need it to be on for right now, so we're going to leave it in the off position. And then we're ready to cut out the napkin ring. So we'll press start here, and we'll let it cut. And it looks like it's going to take about a minute, and I promised you it would have taken me at least 5 minutes to cut this manually with a pair of scissors.
And it's going to be perfect.
Yep, it'll be perfect every time, which is even better.
Somebody who has a question for you.
Yeah.
Could you use the fabric mat?
I could use the fabric mat if I didn't have any fusible on the back side. Yeah, I would have starched it up, and then I could use my fabric mat and the fabric blade. So again, the reason
I'm glad you pointed that out, Tina, because a lot of people ask about that fabric mat, and if you have that backing on it, you don't want to use it. You'll never get it off.
Yes, that's definitely true. All right, looks like we're done cutting over here. So we'll take the mat out. And then basically, look how easy that was. Super quick, super simple. It's a perfect cut every time, right? And here's all the part that it cut out. So again, 1 minute to have the perfect napkin ring cut on the ScanNCut, right? And I don't think it gets any easier than that.
That is adorable.
Isn't that cute? All right, so far we've done a lot of things with a PrintModa printer printing on fabric, right? But what we haven't done yet is use other non-fabric materials. So I actually have a couple that I thought we'd talk through that are great for the kids for Thanksgiving, right? One is going to be stickers, because I don't know how many little kids you've been around lately, but they can never have enough stickers, and it's true for some adults too. And then the other one would be window clings, which would be really fun for them to come over and be able to put on the windows when they get to your house, right? So I'm going to show you first how you can actually print those. And so on the PrintModa, because again, you're going to put those materials in tray 1, right? And so to do that, basically the first thing I want you to do is go to the brothersupport.com webpage, and then you're going to download and install the complete print driver set, all right? So once you get that print driver set installed on your computer, let me show you how quick and easy it is to print out those sticker sheets. All right, so my sticker sheets were in a PDF format. So there's the sticker sheet. And I'm going to pop up here and tell it to print. And I'm going to make sure it has my PrintModa printer. And then I'm going to click on that box here. And I don't need this, that would be for fabric. But on this page, I'm going to put cut sheet paper, and that tells it tray 1. And then I'm going to increase my print quality to high. You could do best as well. And then you'll say okay here. And then once you have all those printer settings, you'll just hit print, and voila, automatically your sticker sheets will print out of the printer. So it's really easy, but you do have to have installed the complete print driver set to have all those options, all right? And again, the cut sheet paper option is the one that's going to direct it to tray 1 on the printer. So let's pop back over to the sample table and let's take a look at some of these sticker sheets. So first of all, here's the, now I've cut a few of these out already. So here's the sticker sheet that's been printed. And a lot of the sticker sheets have these cut lines around the outside, and I actually added these here for me. But that's cool, because then when you put this on in the ScanNCut to do the Fussy cut feature, it basically finds these dark lines and you can have it cut. Now, while we're talking about cutting it with the ScanNCut, I just want to make sure I'm really clear here. Sticker sheets have a paper backing, right? And so with a paper backing like this, you're going to want to be using the low tack mat for the ScanNCut, and that's going to be this one that has the teal, because then it won't just sort of shred the paper backing material when you're trying to take it off. So you put it on the mat, you'll load the mat like I showed you a minute ago for the napkin ring, and you'll go through that whole Fussy cut process that we just completed. Now in this case, remember last time I turned half cut off because I was cutting fabric and I wanted to cut all the way through. For sticker sheets and the window clings, they're both 2-layer materials, and so we want to have the half cut setting turned on again when we go to cut it, right? But then what you end up with is pre-cut sticker sheets. How fun is that? And then basically when the kids come over, or you know, your husband or your grown children, as the case may be, they can just peel off their stickers and have all kinds of fun decorating stuff in the house. So super simple, super quick, a great use of the ScanNCut for the fussy cutting and for the PrintModa for printing out on the sticker sheets. So that's a fun one. And then window clings. I don't know about you guys. It's been a long time since I used window clings, but you know, I went in my office supply drawer and I found window clings, so then I had to try it out, right? So this is also a 2-layer material. So you find the designs that you want to print, you send it to the PrintModa, just like I showed you a minute ago with the sticker sheets, and it prints it out. Now, a couple things to think about here. All these wouldn't matter so much, but for this one, because it's directional, because it has lettering in it, right? You have to kind of decide for yourself before you print it. Do you want it to be read from inside of the house or outside of the house, right? So I set mine up to look right from inside of the house, and so it's this way. If I wanted them to look the right way outside of the house, I would have mirrored it before I printed it, right? And then once it's printed and you fussy cut, just like I showed you a minute ago, it peels right off of the backing material and you're ready to stick those on the window. And so you have a complete other decorating option for the kids when they come to visit you. Isn't that fun?
That's adorable.
All right. So lots of different ideas for the PrintModa. Again, fabric is great. Sticker sheets are good. Your office documents are fine. Window clings. Really pretty much anything that you can print with an inkjet printer, you can use the PrintModa for.
So much fun. I love all the customization. Cindy, get that out of the box. And I saw you asked how big my wrist is. I don't know how big or small. This is totally off topic. She just asked it in the comments. So let me check because I don't know. I think it's like right around 7. Like that gives me a little room. Cindy, you have to get that out of the box. Everybody's saying they love it. They love it. You know, someone said that that wreath that you made would be perfect for Christmas. It already looks like little Christmas trees.
Yeah, and it cute. I think with that holly and the red and green fabric, it'll be great. In fact, I think this is going to be my new go-to holiday decoration because again, just print the little 4-inch squares with a PrintModa for Easter, Christmas, Valentine's Day, all of them, and then 2 hours later you have something ready to go.
So elegant though. That's the thing. It's not just like you just printed it and you stuck it out there. Just those little bit of sewing, which is very easy to do. I did print. Let me show everyone. It's there. It's there. I did it while I was multitasking. So let me just bring up my page here so you can see it, where you need to go and how you copy and paste. Because Tina had full directions. It's like a full pattern for you guys. Amazing. All right, let me share my screen real quick. I think this is the right one. Here you go. I dropped the link below so you can't miss it. Or just go to angelawolf.com and click on events. Scroll down. Here you can watch her video again. And here's all of her instructions. Now this is all you have to do. Take your mouse over this and left click on this all the way to the bottom and hit Control-C or copy it, however you want to copy it. If you're on a Mac, it's a little different. And then add it to your own page. So it's there and it's easy to see. Tina gave you like an entire free pattern. You can't miss it. And then the video is right there that you can replay and watch. Everybody's saying, I love it. I love it.
Well, I hope if you make some of these, you'll share your pictures because I think it's a really fun basic idea. The other thing that's cool about it is if you wanted to, you could add embroidered elements. It's basically a platform that then you can embellish and decorate all kinds of different ways, right?
Absolutely. Any questions for Tina before we go? Everybody's saying thank you. Oh, Rose has a question. Hey, Rose, how are you today? What ScanNCut would you advise to buy? So, Tina, you played on all of them.
I have, and I like all of them. I think it depends on what you're most interested in. What I'll say right now is we have the 325DX and the 330DX, right? So from a features and functions perspective, they're both identical. The difference in content between the two is going to be the 330 has Disney designs and the 325 doesn't, all right? So that's one set. So if you're a Disney person, the 330 is a no-brainer. So then we go down to what's in the box with the two cutters, right? So the 325 has been optimized for people who want to use it for cutting fabric that doesn't have a fusible on the back. So in the box, along with a machine, you get the fabric mat and the fabric blade and the standard mat and the standard blade. So once you open it up, you're able to cut starched fabrics directly on that fabric mat with a fabric blade, and you can use the standard mat to cut things like I showed you, fabric with fusible on the back, but also heat transfer vinyl and some of those other 2-layer materials. Craft foam you can cut on the standard mat, all that kind of stuff, right? Now on the 330DX, when you open the box, what it has in it is it's got the standard mat and the standard blade and the low tack mat and the rotary blade, right? And so we already talked about standard mat, and the standard blade cuts all kinds of stuff, right? The rotary blade, though, is a nice blade for things that are linty or that have a tendency to pick up off when you're cutting it. So think about like felt. If you were going to be cutting felt, it's kind of hard to cut it with a blade because the blade's dragging across it while it's cutting, while the rotary blade rolls across it, right? And the rotary blade actually is good to cut all the things, right? You can cut everything pretty much with a rotary blade. The low tack mat, we talked about sticker sheets earlier, right? So you'd want the low tack mat if you're cutting cardstock, sticker sheets, or anything that's paper, because you don't want a really strong tack to that. Otherwise, it'll distress the paper while it's cutting. Now, the good news, having said all that, the differences between the two. Let's say that you have decided you want the 325, but you really kind of want that rotary blade and maybe the low tack mat too. You can buy those for that one as optional accessories. Just like if you get the one with Disney and you decide you'd also like to cut out your quilt blocks, you can go ahead and pick up the fabric mat and the fabric blade as an optional accessory for that as well.
Very easy. Great question. And also, yes, I'll post a photo of the picture of it on there too. All right, Marnie, can the 325 cut felt?
If you have, I'll be honest with you from what I've tried, right? If you wanted to use the, if you have the rotary blade for it, you can cut felt without anything on the back of it. Without having the rotary blade, then I think your next best option is to put the iron-on fusible in the back of the felt, and then you can cut it with a standard blade, because that fusible kind of keeps it from linting up the mat, and it sticks really well to the standard mat.
Yeah, that rotary blade is absolutely amazing. Jane says, I've got the rotary blade. I love it. Okay, so, this is hilarious. I'm sorry, but she's got the PrintModa ScanNCut out of the box, ready to use it. How do you get over the fear of starting it? Just start. You can't screw it up. It's either a piece of paper or whatever you're cutting. It's going to be so easy. You're going to think, why didn't I take this out of the box sooner?
It's definitely true. But I tell people sometimes, fear is the biggest impediment to getting started. So make your first project something that isn't really precious to you. So worst case, if it doesn't turn out and you have to basically chuck it in the bin, nobody's going to cry over that, right? But what you're going to find out is it's going to turn out perfect. And then from there, you have the confidence and the enthusiasm to do all your other projects.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I see some people in here that were at Houston Quilt Fest. Nice to see you all again. Tina, what events you've got coming up? You only have a few left before the end of the year. Well, there isn't that many more weeks. So if you want to see Tina, where can they find you?
I'll be down at Ruthie's Notions in November and in December. And then I'll be at the Southern Christmas Show in Charlotte the weekend before Thanksgiving. So that if you guys haven't been and you're in that area, it's pretty amazing. It's the biggest Christmas show I've ever seen. It's in a huge arena, I guess is what you would call it. Maybe that's not. It has a roof, so it's not outside kind of thing. But literally, like, we'll be in our booth with all the cool brother stuff, and next door might be somebody who's selling, like, yard statues, and across the way might be somebody with bleach resist flannel shirts, and next door somebody else who's done wood carving on a CNC router. It's like, it's cool, and there's so many gifting ideas that come from there. It's amazing.
That is awesome. I have half my family lives down near Charlotte, so I'm gonna have to let them all know to come by and see you and to go shopping. Maybe I'll give them my little Christmas list of what I want.
I mean, and there's everything there. Last year I took like 2 hours and I only covered one building, and I had a list of like 25 things I wanted.
Oh my gosh. That's a lot. All right. And I will see some of you at World Widener actually in 2 days in Oklahoma City. Thursday, we do have a live show. Laura's on here. Speaking of wreath, she made the coolest wrap for your wreath that's custom with a monogram and some embroidery. So it totally ties in with today as well. That's Thursday, but we'll be live in the chat because I will be in Oklahoma City. So if you're looking for your local brother dealer, let me just bring that little website up here for you. Not little website, it's a long one. brother-usa.com/dealer-locator minus the thread. You don't need that part. And also that we have some pretty fun shows coming. We always have fun shows coming up, but there's a really fun show coming up towards the end of this month. It's on a Tuesday. It's an Artspira special. There's going to be a giveaway. There's going to be 6 projects featured in that. You do not want to miss that show. So mark your calendar. I think it's 2 weeks from, let me look up the date real quick so I don't give you all the wrong date. My calendar's not open. Hold on. Let me look. I was so busy putting your instructions up there, I squirreled. Oh, by the way, Tina, thank you for those instructions.
No problem.
That was really nice. November 18th. November 18th, Tuesday, November 18th at noon. So I'll see you on Thursday at noon this Thursday. And next week, we're back on track with Tuesday and Thursday, but it's the 18th. That's the big show. So you don't want to miss it. All right. Any last minute questions? Everybody's saying thanks. Oh, everyone says, if you get a chance, go see Tina. I agree. I agree.
I would love to see you guys.
It's so fun. It's so fun seeing people in person because you see their names in the chat all the time, and
True.
you don't always, if you haven't met them before. Some people we have met, and then you just become besties. All right, Tina, thank you so much for the great project. And don't forget, if you make this, use hashtag Brother Sews, because I could see this for Thanksgiving, for Christmas, for Valentine's Day, and someone said it'd be great for scraps. Definitely, it would be great for scraps.
Definitely.
So. All right, until next time, Tina. Happy sewing, Brother Sewing and Crafting family. See you on Thursday. Bye.